Okay, thank you, Ma'am Arias. O, Ma'am Arias daw. Oh. Ma'am Riz, please send the attendance link. Thank you. Kindly post here, Ma'am Riz. Just in case Mama Lu cannot Mama Lu cannot have her opening remarks right after our preliminaries. We will go on with the webinar proper. We will just call her right after. Okay? Ma'am Gemma.
Advance
Okay
namin
lang ba
ah.
'yon, Ma'am Gemma?
Okay po, ma'am. Noted po. Yes
Yes,
po, ma'am.
okay.
Tapos paano? Ay, ma'am tuloy po.
Ikaw po ba magpe-present, Ma'am Irene, or would you like somebody from the English department to present your slides, your screen? Ikaw na lang po ba? Okay lang po ba 'yon or what you want, Ma'am?
Ako na lang po, ma'am, para
Okay.
medyo
So you can
gamay.
have your control over
Opo.
your presentation.
Yes. Thank you po, ma'am.
Okay, welcome po. We also have our students here. Good morning to all the students here who are joining us. Ayan, we are already 34 and still counting. Okay. Ayan na po ang attendance link. So, those who are already in, kindly fill out the form. Everyone will be given a certificate for this webinar to be sent through your email.
Tawagin kita. So, metaphors.
Okay, I think we have to start now. It's already 9 a.m. Ma'am Gemma, shall we start?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so before we start, may I ask everyone again to please fill out the attendance link that is already posted in our chat box. Right, so again, a pleasant morning to each and everyone. So may I ask you to join us for our nationalistic song and to be followed by a prayer.
Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to meet together. Please help us to come together to make this institution reflect your kingdom. Breathe life into our ideas and decisions. Help us build a team that has love and respect at its heart. Give us the strength to continue working for your kingdom in this time of pandemic. Lord, come give us the inspiration to be the best we can be. May we be a shining example of your goodness and truth within, wherever we are. Inspire our thoughts, discussions, and ideas, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth for the greater glory of you. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Huwag maingay, Kendra. Mag-start na. Kendra, huwag maingay. Huwag maingay, please. Maingay ka.
Ako'y anak ng lupang hirang, kung saan matatagpuan ang timyas ng perlas ng silangan, nagniningning sa buong kapuluan. Taglay ko ang hiwaga ng silangan, saan mang bayan o lungsod, maging timog, hilaga at kanluran, ang Pilipino ay namumukod. Sama-sama nating abutin pinakamatayog na bituin, at ang aking tagumpay, tagumpay ng aking lahi, tagumpay ng aking lipi, ang tanging minimithi at hinahangat. Hangad ko'y tagumpay natin lahat. Ako ay may isang munting pangarap sa ating dakilang lupain, at sa sama-sama nating pagsisikap, sama-sama ring mararating ang iba't ibang galaw, iisang patutunguhan. Dito, isang araw, isang kapuluan. Sama-sama nating abutin pinakamatayog na bituin, at ang aking tagumpay, tagumpay ng aking lahi, tagumpay ng aking lipi, ang tanging minimithi at hinahangat. Hangad ko'y tagumpay natin lahat. Hangad ko'y tagumpay natin
Yak ko ng tubig. Kaya, yung tubig.
To our Education Program Supervisor, Dr. Rodrigo Morales, Public Schools District Supervisor of District 10, Engineer Leonora Jane Fuente, our dearest school principal, Ma'am Marilu A. De Jesus, the head teachers of the different departments, dash teachers, parents, and students, welcome to our webinar with the theme, Learning Reading Strategies for Struggling Level in the New Normal. To start this program, may I call the bright and jolly teacher from the English department, Mrs. Lucille de Gonzalez, for the acknowledgement of the participants.
Play mo ay open yung notepad. Kung makikita.
Good morning. I don't have
Ma'am.
the attendance here, but of course, we are so blessed this morning to have in our learning and development session our guests and participants. School Principal for Ma'am Marilu A. De Jesus. And of course, our hardworking and passionate head teachers of the different departments. our teachers, of course, of the English department, and I saw some of our teachers here, dash teachers, good morning, and our parents and students from different levels, grade level 7, 8, 9, 10, or 11 and 12. We have some students. We welcome you to this learning and development session, the learning reading strategies for struggling readers, and of course with our very important resource speaker that will be introduced later. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Mom Lizelle, for introducing our participants for today. And for our dear participants, I would like you to please relax, lend us your time and ears, and
Yeah.
surely you will
Yeah.
gain additional knowledge. Okay. This time,
Wala.
please join me in
Ah,
calling the ever supportive principal, Ma'am
wala.
Marilu de Jesus of Dr.
Wala.
Arcadio National High School for her
Ha?
opening remarks.
Hindi, meron silang,
To our public school district supervisor, Engineer Leonora Nofuente, to
nag-welcome.
our department heads of the different departments, most especially to our department head in English, Miss Maria Teresa Mendoza, and to all our English teachers who are present, to our students and parents, and to our lecturer for today's event, Miss Irene Manuel Alcantara. A pleasant morning. So we are indeed fortunate and privileged to have with us Miss Irene Alcantara to give us a very important talk about the day's topic, learning reading strategies for struggling level. Okay, and with that topic and with this event, this is an important event that acknowledges the fact that reading skill with comprehension is a very important skill that our students should have, and it is an important way to be able to increase the literacy level, especially among our struggling readers or students. So this is indeed a worthwhile endeavor for today, and uh, and we have the English department to thank for this very important event. So I thank you personally, Ma'am Tess Mendoza, and the English department, the English teachers that we have today, and to our education program supervisor, Sir Dids Morales. Nandito po si Sir Dids.
Wala ma'am, hindi pa
Okay.
nakapasok Sir Deeds.
But of course, even if he's around or he's not around, the support of our English program supervisor is always felt, di ba? Ma'am Tess, lagi nandiyan ang suporta ng ating education program
Yes ma'am, yes
supervisor
ma'am.
in English. Okay, so I hope that we will try to get as much as possible from this from the talk of Ms. Alcantara today. And for sure, not only the parents and students would learn, but also as teachers. Okay, so a pleasant morning, everyone, and God bless us all.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am De Jesus, for that meaningful message. Reading is actually one of the important macro skills that we must learn. It is actually defined as a cognitive process that involves decoding symbols to arrive at meaning. Reading is an active process of constructing meaning of words. Reading with a purpose helps the reader to direct information towards a goal of focuses their attention. Reading is a thinking process. It allows the reader to use what he or she may already know, also called the prior knowledge. During this process of information, the reader uses strategies to understand what they are reading, uses themes to organize ideas, and uses textual clues to find the meanings of new words. And this time, to mo- and this time, we know that some learners are having difficulties in reading. Therefore, the English department came up with this webinar to help you or to give you some tips on how are we going to enhance our reading skill. So, without further ado, let us call on Mrs. Annabel Vega to introduce with us our resource
Yeah, hindi
speaker
mo
for
malapit yan.
today.
Yan na. I-introduce na ako.
Blessed morning to all. Our speaker is a graduate of Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English at University of Makati. She took up her masteral units at Naval Institute of Technology. She had 5-year experience teaching at Millennium International School in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. She is an entrepreneur, managing her own business such as restaurant, computer shop, printing press. Also, she's the CEO of Kids Focus, an online tutorial center, and she's been teaching to Japanese, Korean, and Taiwanese for more than 3 years up to the present in Native Camp, a Japanese online English school. In short, she's an ESL teacher teaching English as a second language. She was my former, she's my classmates, no? Maybe two or three subjects way back in college. She's also an amazing mother of two daughters who graduated virtually this school year 2020-2021. Her eldest is graduated in college from from public school, UP Diliman, and the younger is graduated in Quezon City in public school also, just preschool. Right now, her younger is grade 1. Okay, here to share her take in learning reading strategies for struggling level in the new normal. Please welcome our resource speaker, Miss Irene Manuel Alcantara.
Good morning to everyone. To the CSDS District 10 Engineer, Leonora Fuente.
Ma'am, we can't hear you po. Naka-mute po kayo. Good morning
Can you
po.
hear me na po?
Okay na
Yes
po,
po.
ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
So,
So,
good
good
morning.
morning to everyone. I'm so sorry I forgot to unmute my okay. Now,
Now,
ninenervyos po ako. Pasensya na po.
good
Good
morning
morning
to
to
the
the
PSO,
PSDS District 10 Engineer Leonora Fuente and
and
Miss
Miss
Marlu A. De Jesus, Secondary Principal for Dr. Arcadio Santos National High School, Maria Teresa D. Mendoza, Head 3 of English Department, Head of Different Departments Coordinators, Group of Reading Program, Mrs. Gonzalez and Mrs. Olaida. Correct me if I'm wrong with the pronunciation po. Fellow online teachers, parents, students, and as well as my classmates in University of Makati and visitors. A blessed morning to all. First of all, it is a great day to have myself here at Dr. Arcadio National High School and with you because this would be a very essential for me sharing some of my insights with you, and I hope it could be very useful for all of us, especially for us teachers or educators who would be used to whenever they do online teachings at home or in school that they are engaged with. So for today, my topic is about learning different reading strategies for struggling readers. Okay. Hello, ma'am. Malinaw po ba ako?
Yes po, yes.
Okay.
Yes po, ma'am.
I just want to check kasi po minsan pag nagtuturo ako, by the way, I just want to introduce myself. I am an online ESL teacher. I am teaching Koreans, Taiwanese, and Japanese. And as well as I also have my own virtual tutorial company. So I only have 5 teachers. Now, let's start, Mom. Pleasant morning to all of you. Now, I will start my presentation with the introduction. This will be my outline, okay? I will discuss the challenges, not discuss, but magta-touch lang po ako ng konti sa the challenges of students and teachers now in this new normal, and the 3 levels of readers, the essential components of reading. Now, the main body of my presentation is the reading strategies, okay? So what are those reading strategies? We have phonics, phonemic awareness, strategies on the learner's vocabulary, fluency strategies for the learners, and strategies for teaching reading comprehension. Mga ma'am, pasensya na po kayo, maingay po yung bunso ko. Naririnig niyo po ba yung anak ko, ma'am? And the last but not the least, I will be also teaching you smart teaching. Okay? Now, let's start, mom and sir. Challenges of the students and teachers in the new normal setting. By the way, before I start, mom, just one question po. Which do you prefer? The face-to-face or the traditional schooling?
The
Sino po
face to
pwede?
face.
Face to face po.
Face-to-face. So,
Yes.
mas gusto niyo po
Face
yan?
to
Masanay
face.
na po kayo sa face-to-face? Isa po sa traditional. Okay.
Yes.
Ma'am, for me as a parent to my 6 years old daughter, mas gusto ko po yung face-to-face. Mas gusto ko po yung face-to-face. As a parent. Pero as a teacher siguro, mas gusto ko yung online. Mhm. Okay. Ma'am, may I ask, why do you like face-to-face than the online? Can anybody of the audience answer? Why do you prefer face-to-face?
Ma'am Irene, in face-to-face kasi, less
Mm.
stress, no?
Mm.
And we can move our body.
Mm.
Okay? Unlike here,
Mm.
we have mga 4 or 5
Mm.
meetings every day. So, less
Mm.
exercise. So, that's
Okay.
why. And also, in
Mm.
face-to-face, we have also the so-called interpersonal relationship with the students. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for that answer, Ma'am Annabelle. Okay. Siguro lang po, I was used of teaching online. That's why I preferred online teaching. Now, these are the struggles of the students and the teachers as well. So first, financial. Okay? So siguro naman po lahat tayo, yan ang struggle natin, financial. For the students, there are some students who really cannot afford to buy gadgets, right, ma'am? And thus, it hinders them from joining or attending online classes. But there are some schools yata in public school na blended, right? So if ever, Ma'am Annabelle, if ever walang ano ang bata, you can have the modular modality.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So next we have the weak internet connection or no internet connection at all. Or some are just using data. And of course, going back to the first problem, financial. Some cannot buy data or load. Next, we have the audio and video clarity. Like what I did, I checked if you can hear me well. Because as an online teacher, That is the first thing that we have to ask our students in native tongue. We have to ask the Japanese students if our voice is clear, they can hear us. Okay, that is very important. Next, outdated device and software. So there are some parents, or there are some students, their mobile phones are outdated, meaning to say they cannot have online classes also, or the laptops. Next, we have communication issues, right? Next, we have different preparation for the teachers. Some teachers are not able, last year during the pandemic, some teachers are really, they find it very hard to adjust, right? Mga moms. Kasi you have to prepare another lesson plan. And of course, another setup, you have to use Google Meet. Nahirapan po ba kayo nung una, ma'am, sa pag-set up nung Google
Yes,
Meet?
yes, yes.
Yes
Okay.
po, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is another adjustment on your part. Pero now that it's your second year, medyo siguro naman used na kayo doon. Next, shift in evaluating students' learning. Siyempre, from face-to-face, magiging modular, magiging online. So,
Blended.
blended. So, both students and teachers, they find it very hard to adjust from this kind of shifting. Next, students' short attention span. So I could relate on this because I have a 6-year-old daughter. My daughter, my God, she had to she have to she only have 1 hour of lesson, online lesson, but her attention span is really short, meaning to say the teacher should be very well in the use of visual aids. I mean, pictures, so that the students, like my daughter, will really listen to her. Okay. Next, burning themselves out and managing virtual behavior. Okay, that's very much self-explanatory. Now, according to Richard Steele, reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. So, can you please explain this, Teacher Annabelle? What do you mean by this?
Okay. So maybe I can answer that with another quotation.
Mm-hmm.
It could be education cure ignorance,
Mm-hmm.
food cures hunger. So it's just both factor in our body that are really very important. Our mind should be fed
Mm-hmm.
also by
Mm-hmm.
information. So with the
Yes.
body, we need to exercise to make it stronger
Mm, correct.
and healthier. Thank you.
Yes. Very well said, Teacher Annabelle. Okay, next. Now we have the three level of readers. To be honest with you, I don't know that these three level of readers exist. I only knew this from Teacher Annabelle. So we have the first level, independent, instructional, and frustration. Now, for the independent, when the reader knows most of the words and can comprehend the text without too much difficulty. Second one, we have instructional, more challenging but manageable for the reader. And the last but not the least, we have frustration, difficult for the reader, thus requires extensive assistance from an educator. Based on my experience again in my online teaching, most of my Japanese students are frustration level, most. And they are, to think that they are professionals. Okay? Next, what are the essential components of reading? Before I dig into my main topic, I just want to introduce the essential components of reading because based on my strategies, I will specify each components for the strategies, okay? First, we have phonics, phonemic awareness, vocabulary, fluency, and reading comprehension. Now, I will going to elaborate each of these components, and I will enumerate all of the strategies, not all, but most strategies that is very applicable to us online teachers nowadays. Okay, so now this is my topic: reading strategies for struggling level in the new normal. Good morning. To start with, phonics. So when we say phonics, it involves the relationship between the letters of written language and the sounds of spoken language. Meaning to say, when students struggle using phonics while reading, it really slows them down, thus preventing them to read fluently, and they are not able to comprehend what they read. So it's really a big chain reaction. So each step is really crucial. So I just want to start with vowels. My daughter is a okay. Phonics strategy. First phonics strategy. I told you phonics. So my daughter from UP, she told me she was arguing with me because she told me, Ma, why do you have to include vowels and consonants? That is only for the beginner, for like Kendra, for her a 6-year-old daughter. No, I don't think so because every syllable of every single word includes a vowel sound. Do you agree with that? Huh? That vowels,
Yes po, yes.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, ma'am.
And that is the basic foundation of reading vowels and consonants. So for struggling readers, we have to spend good time focusing on them to pronounce the two different vowels, the short vowel and the long vowel, right? So we will give them lots of reading exercise, like what I am doing to my students in Native Camp. By the way, the name of the company that I am working with is Native Camp. So I gave them a lot of reading exercise, for example, long I sound or short I sound. So we have to be, what you call this? You will have to be patient for the struggling readers, especially when you have remedial classes, right? Be patient to differentiate with them what is how to pronounce the long vowel sound and how to pronounce the short vowel sound. Okay? Next we have the CVC words. Okay, for the CVC words, so after vowels, we have CVC words. They are the next phonics strategy that we must focus on. So CVC words are words that start with consonant, vowel, and consonant in the end. Meaning to say, I will give an example. If the students are struggling reading CVC words, of course they will struggle even more in trying to apply complex phonics patterns in the future when they become college, right? So as long as they are still in high school, we have to implement to them how to practice the correct pronunciation of CVC words. Okay? So next, we have um, repetition. Yeah. So for the repetition, as a teacher, we have to try our best to integrate all phonics pattern in your practice. So how can we do this? Of course, by modeling. Okay? When you model reading passages, we have to stop and then highlight previous learned patterns. Okay? Now, me as a teacher in Native Camp, I try my best to integrate all phonics patterns in my practice, in my students' practice. So meaning to say, I am the one who is reading for my students, most especially my Japanese students. English is not their second language. So, there are some students talaga na hindi talaga marunong magbasa. As in, tsatsagain mo. And to think that they are professionals. They are not elementary, they are not high school, they are professionals. And another thing is, going back to CVC, just to share with you, mom and sir, they find it very hard to pronounce R and L. And then I asked my daughter, why is it hard for them to pronounce R and L? Because it is not included in their alphabet pala in Japan. So that's why it's very hard for them to pronounce R and L. Okay? Now, let's move on to our next one, highlighting. Okay, for the highlighting, this strategy is used when you have the students highlight phonics patterns for them to draw attention in words and passages. So be sure to use bright and bold highlighters to draw attention to important things so that for them they can read the words very well. This strategy is to draw attention of the readers, most especially the struggling readers. And I think this is very much applicable to modular, right, mom? Modules. They can use highlighters if, of course, if they can just afford. Okay. Next, chunking. I would apply this chunking for my 6-year-old daughter. Now that she is starting to read, I applied chunking because you will chunk the word by drawing lines. But I am using chunking by covering the first syllable with my hands. So that is for my daughter. So meaning to say, once the students are able to read single syllables, they can put the phonics skill to use to read larger words. Okay? For struggling readers, big words can be very overwhelming for them. So this strategy is very effective, right? The teacher will cover up the part of the word with a hand or with a note card and let the student just see one chunk of the word at a time. So we can also apply this when you have remedial classes to your students. Okay? Next, we have the spelling and writing. Now, for the spelling and writing, this is considered one of the most effective strategies for phonics. In online classes, teachers can ask the students to use whiteboards and markers to spell out words. Mga ma'am, sino po ba dito sa inyo ang nagpapagamit sa mga students nila ng whiteboard during online classes? Hello po.
Hello, Ma'am Irene. We're not
Yes.
using that. Can you help us, please?
Kasi
Oo.
my daughter kasi, she was asked by this grade 1 kasi ang anak ko. She was asked by the teacher to buy whiteboard and use them. So in your I just want to ask, so you are not using the whiteboards and markers?
Yes. During our face-to-face, Ma'am Irene,
Mm,
we
mm,
use the whiteboard kasi we have
mm,
whiteboards in school.
mm,
But now, we don't oblige our parents to buy whiteboard.
mm.
Opo. Pero they can use paper naman instead of whiteboard.
In the spelling activity. Okay. Thank you for that answer, mga ma'am.
Okay po.
Okay. Now we are already done with the phonics. Now we have the second one, the phonemic awareness. What is phonemic awareness? It is the ability to identify and manipulate individual sounds or phonemes in spoken words. Now, I believe that proficiency in phonemic awareness is one of the predictors for future reading success. So, meaning to say that if a student is proficient and fluent in this phonemic sounds, they will become a better reader in the future. Now, next, what are the strategies for phonemic awareness? First, we have model blending and segmenting. By the way, before I discuss model blending and segmenting, what is blending? Okay, who would like to answer, ma'am? Blending. What do you mean by blending, mga ma'am? Ma'am Annabelle.
Based on what I have known, blending is a
Hmm,
combination of different sound. Okay,
correct.
like, okay, thank you.
Correct. Ano. How about segmenting? Who would like to answer
Okay,
segment?
segmenting. It's all about syllabication, ma'am.
Correct. Okay.
Okay.
Now, blending is an important skill for reading. Okay. You are correct, teacher Annabelle. It's a blending of sound. While segmenting is used for writing. Okay. So that is the difference between the two. Now, for the first strategy, we have to model blending and segmenting. Of course, as a teacher of the new normal, we have to model to our students how we what how we pronounce the words, okay? Or how to read or how to practice together the great phonemic awareness activities. So in such a way that it will help them with the blending and segmenting. Show to them how to say the sounds closer and closer together, thus making the correct pronunciation of the word. Okay, another example in native camp in my company. So I am the one who is, of course, because they cannot pronounce the word or they cannot read the word. So I will be the first one to read a passage or a paragraph. Then afterwards, I will let them read after me. Okay. Next, we have another strategy. We have word play games. Okay. So teacher Annabelle was the one who introduced to me Kahoot. I don't know it. Right, teacher Annabelle? I'm not
Yes,
familiar
yes.
with Kahoot.
It's an online game.
Yeah. So are all of the teachers using Kahoot in their, yeah, ask
Yes, ma'am.
teachers?
Yes.
Mhm. Okay, so games are such a great way to disguise phonemic awareness. Meaning to say, if we are using the games as a strategy, the students will be very much willing to join or very much willing to engage in the activity because they enjoy it, right? Most especially the online games. Okay, next we have vocabulary. Now, vocabulary as a teacher, you should be the model to your student. Again, model again. Always model. Okay. Meaning to say, in this new normal setting, am I correct? New normal setting, ma'am?
Yes, yes
Okay,
po.
new normal setting. One of the best vocabulary teaching strategies is to use unfamiliar vocabulary words in your online classes. Do you do that, ma'am? Of, do you use unfamiliar vocabulary words during your online classes to your students?
Yes, for example, when we have our reading text, then
Mm,
before we discuss the reading text or the reading
Mm-hmm.
the selection. So
Mm-hmm.
there should be unlocking of difficulty. So one way to
Yes.
unlock is to
Mm.
get the unfamiliar word so that students would be able to understand it.
Okay, very good, ma'am. Very well said. Yeah, and of course, allow them to use those unfamiliar words in their daily conversation. Okay, while they are talking with their parents, ask them, did you use those vocabulary words while talking to your parents? I always ask my students to use the English language in their daily lives, even if they are Japanese. But sometimes they ask me, how can we do that? Most of my friends in Japan don't know how to speak English. Tama nga naman, ma'am, di ba? How can they practice the language if nobody is speaking in English? I told them, okay, if you nobody can speak English with you, why don't you just have friends from abroad, right? Video call with them, talk with them in English, okay? So wala pa rin silang lusot. Okay, next. We have the next one, reframing sentences. Okay. Reframing sentences. For the reframing sentences, it is a positive way. In a positive way, it can validate students for using their new vocabulary skills while still modeling the correct way to use them. Okay. So, do you have any idea of this reframing sentences, mga ma'am? What is your idea about reframing sentences? Who would like to answer? Oh, si Ma'am Annabel ulit. Paborito ko si Ma'am Annabel. Gumaganti ako kay Ma'am Annabel. Ma'am Annabel, do you have any idea of what reframing sentences is? How can you apply that to your students?
Since the word is new to the students, so it says
Mm,
here that
mm,
it should be used in a positive way, okay,
mm,
and can be validated for uh, by modeling by the teacher herself or
mm.
himself.
Okay, very good. That's correct. Or for example, this is just an example. Okay, your student answer during the online class, and her answer is incorrectly. Her grammar is wrong. Incorrect grammar. His grammar is incorrect, or his vocabulary is incorrect as well. Now, for them not to be able to feel embarrassed, we have to reframe the sentence, okay, to correct them. Okay, first, just simply acknowledge their statement and repeat it in the correct way without embarrassing them. So, like for example, here in the sentence, this example sentence is, I lost my pencil. Okay, so you will ask him again, you lost your pencil? Okay, so you correct without embarrassing him, right? You reframe the sentence. Okay. Next, we have visuals. Now, for the visuals, most students respond well to visual cues, right? Do you agree with this, mga ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Mm, okay. Because it gives them a mental image to associate with the new words, right? So, teachers, trainers, educators of this new normal setting, we should use vocabularies, strategies with pictures, visuals, MP4, or what you may video from YouTube, right? As much as we can.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because most students respond well to visuals para hindi sila mabored, right? So, why not incorporate your lessons with some supplementary materials that they would be very attracted with? Most especially if you are teaching the lower level, yung mga elementary. Okay, next, synonyms. Now, as I mentioned earlier, visuals make great vocabulary strategies in this new normal. So, um, we should be the one to ask. We should ask our students to make posters, right? To show them list of synonyms for vocabulary words. So when I was teaching in Riyadh, I was asking my students make some slogans or posters and use as much as they can use a lot of synonyms on that posters. Now that we are a teacher of new normal and we have a lot of millennial students, we can also associate this kind of strategy to some of the social networking sites. What do you think, Mom? Like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right? We can ask them to make their blogs, right? And try to highlight some synonyms on their blogs or ask them to post something on their Facebook account and use a lot of synonyms on their posts. Okay? So we are being millennials here, ma'am, para maka-relate naman yung mga high school sa atin.
Yes, I agree po.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
walang generation gap, 'di ba, ma'am? Mga
yes.
ma'am. Okay. Now, next, other activities to develop the vocabulary of students. We have vocabulary dictionary, we have words journal, semantic maps, and pairs. Okay. Next. Next thing we have fluency. When we say fluency, it refers to the ability to read orally with speed, accuracy, and proper expression. Reading with appropriate phrasing and phrase is very important in fluency. Okay? So, they said that if you read fast, you are fluent. Do you agree with that, mga mom? Reading fast daw, fluent na yun.
No.
No, di ba? So,
Yes.
it's not that reading fast. Even if you read fast, but you cannot you have no the pronunciation,
Comprehension.
yeah, comprehension, pronunciation. It's
Yes.
not fluency, okay? Now, I believe that reading fluently boosts the confidence of our students. Do you believe in that, mga ma'am? Reading fluently, it can
Yes,
boost
Yes,
ma'am.
of
the
course.
confidence. Yeah. So it encourages them to learn more, right? Because of that. So it is very much motivating for them. So these are the strategies for reading fluency. Okay. First, again, modeling. Puro modeling ang tayo, mga ma'am. Okay. Modeling is one of the ways we can teach reading with fluency is to model it ourselves. Okay. This is very much self-explanatory na ma'am, di ba? You just read first, okay? You will be the one to read first the passage or the paragraph and then ask them to read after you. That is what I'm doing in Native Calm. I will be the first one to read, and then the article or the
Yes.
paragraph, and then after that, first they will listen, right? They will listen on your pronunciation. Then after that, you ask them to read. Then you will check if their pronunciation is correct. Okay. Next, start with sentences. Okay. With this one, before proceeding to read longer passages, start practicing first with sentences to avoid overwhelming the students. Meaning to say, you don't need to congest them. Most especially the struggling readers, you don't need to congest them with too long paragraphs. Di ba mga ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, no. On online classes, no need to congest them with too long paragraphs
Yes,
because
I agree. Yeah, because these students need to start with short sentences first, and then
mm,
eventually develop to a more complicated one. So we start from the
Yes,
basic.
very good. Very well said, Teacher Annabelle. Okay, so they will feel pressured
It's
if
Ma'am Mendoza.
they will feel very much pressured if you will introduce to them very long paragraph, especially the struggling readers. Okay, so let's make it into something that could be easily visualized. Okay, next, sight words. Okay, what do you mean by sight words, ma'am?
These are the words that you're going to show to the students, no, from time to time.
Mm,
And though you have not introduced the sound yet, but you have modeled, then you
mm.
give that exercises from time to time so that they can able to memorize the sound of those sight words.
Okay, very good, very good, ma'am. Now, the more sight words a student knows, the more automaticity they can have while reading, and it helps them improve their pace in reading. Okay, when we say automaticity, it is independent of conscious control and attention, or the ability to perform a task by automatic processing. Or ito na yata yung mga tinatawag na independent readers, no? If automaticity, they have the skill of automaticity. Okay. Next, we have line tracking. Okay. I think you can use this. This is applicable for remedial classes, right, mga ma'am? Line tracking sa mga remedial classes niyo pag nag-a-attend yung mga bata ng remedial
Yes,
classes.
yes.
Mhm. So we are using this strategy to help the students who have trouble focusing on the text, right? Uh, so I said this is applicable for modular or also applicable for modular, meaning to say every time they will read with their parents at home, they for the struggling readers, parents should we should introduce this kind of technique or strategy. Ask the parents to use this strategy in teaching those struggling readers. Okay, so we can use the papers, bookmarks, etc. Okay, now colored paper. Okay, for the colored paper, this is another strategy for struggling readers. It is to improve their reading fluency. That makes use of lightly colored papers. It helps them read better because it's attractive, right? And their eyes would be able to focus on the text and take it in the information better. So they will be motivated to read because of the bright colored of papers. You can use this also in remedial classes. May budget ang mga teachers, di ba ma'am? May budget naman siguro. Okay, next. Repeated readings. Okay, this is very much self-explanatory na mga ma'am, right? So, we keep on asking the students to repeat reading, hanggang sa matuto sila. Okay? So, this is one of the best proven strategies for reading with fluency. Okay. Now, fluency tracking. Okay. Tracking rate and accuracy are helpful for a teacher to see if your student is making progress and if your interventions for reading fluency are working. So I already mentioned to mom, forget the name of Mrs. That I am not really familiar with the assessment when it comes to government schools. Right, ma'am? So,
Mendoza.
yeah. Next, partner reading. Partner reading is another good strategy in this new normal setup. Why? Because you can call on two students during the online classes to read the passages or the paragraphs and take turns in reading. Are you doing this, mga ma'am, sa online classes ninyo? Do you ask two
Yes po,
students?
yes.
Yes.
Yes. We call students and we ask them to read. Ma'am Olaita, di ba? We're doing this, Ma'am Olaita. Ma'am Olaita
Yes,
is a
ma'am.
reading teacher. Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Would
ma'am,
you
we
like
are
to share,
doing that.
ma'am? How
We
do
are
you do
doing
this?
that.
Yes.
Even in the remedial session, we used to ask two students to be
Mm,
a partner and they used to read together. Uh, Sometimes I ask also students to read one at a time and then after that, partner with,
correct.
with their partner.
Well, okay. Let's call another one, ma'am, kasi we're doing this eh. Let's have
Mm,
Ma'am Weng Yedo. Ma'am Weng, are
mm.
you familiar with this partner reading, Ma'am
Yes,
Weng?
ma'am. Because
How?
di ba ma'am, we have
Yes.
types of readers. We have the independent readers. We have the instructional and educational. Usually, pwedeng i-part
Mm.
independent readers, instructional. Pwede naman
Yeah,
readers,
correct.
presentation. Yun po, ma'am. Thank you po.
Mm.
Yan.
Thank
Meron pa din, ma'am, si Sir Tony Bass. Magaling din to. Sir Tony, are you familiar with this? How do you do this in your class, Sir Tony? Partner reading.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, good morning po. Good morning.
Good
So
morning, yes.
yes po. So ang ginagawa ko po ma'am sa partner reading, pina-practice ko muna po silang dalawa tapos pag okay na po yung kanilang babasahin, sabay na po silang magpapakita ng gilas po sa video.
Okay. So okay ba sir ang ang strategy na 'to? Na-focus ba yung bata sa pagbabasa? What do
Yes
you
ma'am,
think?
kasi pina-practice po muna nila sa una.
Yan. Okay. So see ma'am, we're doing this. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the answer, mga ma'am. And with this kind of strategy, you are not only focusing on the reading of the children or the learners, you are also developing their listening skill, di ba mga ma'am? Also their listening because they were able to listen to their partner. Okay. Now let's next we have context. Okay. It says here that struggling readers' fluency will improve when they understand the context of what they are reading. So, do you agree with this, mom?
Yes.
If they
Yes.
understand the context of what they are reading. So, of course, how can we able to do that? How can we see to it that the readers will understand the context of what they are reading?
Usually, and just like what I'm doing with my son, 6 years old po, whenever he's reading po Tagalog word, after po
Mm,
sentence, tatanong po ako
mm,
niya, po sa
mm,
pwede pong sino po, WH question po. After po
mm,
sentence po ulit, pinapabasa ko po ulit sa kanya, tanong po ulit.
mm, mm.
To test po kung naintindihan po niya yung binasa po niya. Thank you po.
Wow, very much. Very good. Hindi ko na masabi sa sarili.
Contextualize, ma'am. Yeah, we have to
Mm,
contextualize it.
yeah,
Right?
contextualize.
Contextualize.
Okay. Now, next, we are moving on to our next topic. We have the reading comprehension. Reading comprehension is the ability to process text, understand its meaning, and to integrate with what the reader already knows. Okay. Now, to improve reading comprehension, you must foster a love for reading, right? It says here that how can you share to someone something if you yourself do not love that thing that you wanted to share with, right? Do you agree with me, mga ma'am? So you have to foster a love for reading before you can teach reading to your students, right? So, mahilig po ba tayo magbasa, mga ma'am?
Yes, we have to be models when it comes to
Yeah.
reading because we are teachers. Okay,
Mm,
so if we do not know, if we do not love reading, then how
mm.
can we
Teach
teach our
them.
students to love reading also?
Yes, correct. And as a teacher of the new normal setting, we must show the students that even if they are not faced that we are not face to face, we must show them that they still enjoy reading, right? We must implement to them. Just enjoy reading even if there's no face to face. Okay? So what are the different strategies for reading comprehension? Okay, we have first think aloud. Think aloud. Okay. When we say think aloud, do you have any idea, mga ma'am, kung ano itong sinasabi na think aloud? Okay. No idea at all? Okay, ako na lang magsasalita. Okay. This is another way of modeling.
Yeah, it's
Modeling,
like eavesdropping, ma'am. It's like eavesdropping.
yeah, correct. So, you have to demonstrate reading with comprehension as a teacher. You will read aloud, and then you will read aloud the text, the passage, or the paragraph with your students, and model to them what goes in your head as you think about what you read. Okay? So, parang nai-imagine. Let them imagine what you are reading, right? So that is read aloud. Then you will stop and wonder and ask questions, make notes about interesting points, and ask them to make prediction, right? What will be the outcome of the, for example, story? Okay, point out things that you didn't, point out to them things that they didn't understand, and go back to the same text again. Okay, so that is read aloud. Next, we have quality questions. Yeah, for the quality questions, we have um, a well-timed quality question gets students to think about the text that can strengthen students' comprehension skills. Ma'am, last na po to. Masyado po ba ako mabagal, mga ma'am?
Okay lang po, ma'am.
Magaling, magaling, ma'am. Okay lang po.
Masyado kasi ako maraming ni-research, mga ma'am. Pasensya na po. So it is very important for us to ask them quality questions so that, for example, who did that, what just happened, ask the students to analyze also the characters, right? So that is very, very important. So again, this will be the last. Based on my experience as an online teacher, when I ask the questions about the text and the students, the Japanese students, they don't know the answer, of course, I will help them to go back to the text and find the answer by themselves. Okay? No spoon feeding. I don't like spoon feeding, mga ma'am. Okay. Ma'am, last na po talaga, rereading with purpose. Medyo matagal po talaga, no, mga ma'am. Rereading with purpose means you will, again, repeated readings. Okay? Repeated readings are focused on the meaning of the text, and students are able to practice reading with purpose. Okay. Ma'am, that ends the lesson for today. The presentation. Meron pa po sana akong ipipresent about the SMART: skills, knowledge, attitudes, materials and resources, assessment and monitoring, relationship and roles, and training and support. But we don't have enough time. Wala na po bang time, mga ma'am?
How long will it take to be discussed, ma'am? Mga ilang minuto pa.
Itong
Maganda yan,
ano.
smart.
Yeah, this is very nice. Smart. Okay, bibilisan ko na lang po itong smart
Okay,
na to,
yes,
ma'am.
yes po, yes po.
Okay, when we say smart, so we will going to give more emphasis on what to explore and reflect in this new setup of learning modality. So first, we have the letter S, skills, knowledge, and attitude. So these are the questions. Ni-research ko lang po to, ma'am. So it stands for skills. The S stands for the skills, knowledge, or attitude. So what are the learning goals? So you have to think what are the learning goals of the students. Okay. Next, which learning delivery modalities match the learning goals? So again, we have the three uh, modalities, right, mga ma'am? Okay.
Yes.
Next, we have materials and resources. Mamadaliin ko na lang po mga mama. Babasahin ko na lang po. For the materials and resources, do the families have the devices? Do they have bandwidth or internet connection and materials needed? How can I plan activities around the materials that are available? Where can I source additional materials, or where can we source additional, how can we provide materials for them? Of course, first, we should be resourceful. We can involve the students preparing the instructional materials even within inside their house, mga ma'am, right? For example, kumuha sila ng isang object and then uh, can you explain or can you describe what this object is? So be resourceful, mga ma'am. Since we are not allowed to go out. Children are not allowed to go out. So be resourceful as the materials only inside the house. Okay. Again, games and activities. I already mentioned this earlier. Games. Now, for the letter A, we have assessment and monitoring. How can I track the learner's progress? Are there opportunities for formative assessment within the modality? And can I do synchronous or asynchronous assessment? Okay. And the last but not the least, we have relationship. No, this is not. Relationship, namali ako mga ma'am. Muna to, relationship and roles. How am I building relationship with my students and their families? Diba mga ma'am? Now that we are online na, so tatanungin ko muna kayo mga ma'am, how do you build relationship with the parents of your students?
Wow, that's a very good question. So let us hear from ano po, from Ma'am Ma'am Kitbel. Ma'am Kitbel, would you like to answer the very good question of Ma'am Irene? Ma'am Kitbel?
Yes, good morning po.
Yes.
When we building a relationship with my students and their families, of course, in this kind of new normal setup teaching, we don't just consider our teaching routine, but also we have to consider that aside from being students or learners, they are also part of their family, which they have to do some errands or some chores. So we have to also consider the time allotment for studying and the time allotment intended for doing the chores or helping their family, especially knowing that in the public school setup, not all of our students are privileged enough to have stable, we call this uh financially stable. So some of them are also working and helping their families. So we also have to consider their time and allotment for doing the activity. So consideration and being compassionate in considering our students.
Okay.
Wow, that's a very good answer,
Yeah.
ma'am. Ma'am, can we hear again from ano naman po? Ito magaling din po itong guru na to eh. Ma'am Riza Grace Rabo, would you like to answer the question? Ma'am Riza Grace? Ma'am Gracie? Aha, nahulog yata si Ma'am Gracie. Okay, let's have, ay ma'am, we have our reading coordinator. Ma'am Lizelle Gonzalez. Ma'am Lizelle? Ma'am Lizelle Gonzalez, before we end.
Hi, ako ba yun?
Yes, ikaw po yun.
At this
Go.
time of pandemic, ma'am, I think patience is a virtue. We must be
Correct.
very patient with our students and of course with their family members who are of course with them, facilitating their studies, their homeworks, activities. So to create that opportunity, we have also to be, of course, very, very patient. That's the key, ma'am, for this new normal we have.
Yan. Tama po yan, Ma'am Lizelle. Ma'am Irene, I agree with that. Kasi
Okay.
po, Ma'am Lizelle, and actually all English teachers are very patient when it comes to our students,
Correct.
especially in this new normal situation, no? Talaga pong
Mm,
we really reach out to our students. We try to connect with them. We try to look for them kasi yung iba dyan
mm,
nawawala na po. So we have to really look for these students and
mm,
give our understanding to them kasi nga po we don't know their situation, especially their parents, no?
Correct.
Yung iba nawalan ng trabaho. Ma'am Arias,
oo.
Ma'am Arias, our master teacher. Ma'am Annie, would you like to share something, Ma'am Annie?
Ay, ma'am, yes, ma'am, good morning. Ma'am, ano question?
Ay,
Nasa
siguro
kabila.
Annie po, how do you build
How I am
relationship?
building a relationship with
Yes.
my students. Of course, unang-una, first and foremost, even though we are remote, having a distance remote modality, we have whenever we meet, we have a Google Meet or Parents Teacher Conference, always I wear a smile, di ba? Pag
Correct.
nag-smile ka, maraming kahulugan ang smile. Also, first thing is you have to learn their names. Kailangan, you have to address, ay, mami, ano, kumusta na kayo? Siyempre, di ba tayo pagka tinatawag tayo sa ating pangalan, tuwang-tuwa tayo kasi, ay, kilala niya ako. So, sasabi nga, our names are the sweetest names. Okay. Isa
Correct.
pa po, oo, you have to learn to communicate with them effectively. So at saka hindi lang po siya dapat, pwede tayo mag-ask ng questions sa kanila, no?
Mm,
Especially on the as to the performance of their students. Hindi
mm,
natin isa pa dahil naka-on call tayo, hindi din dapat tayo we need not to wait to a call until there's trouble. Hindi na tayo pwedeng
mm,
saka lang tayo may ipag-usap sa kanila pag malapit na silang bumagsak, di ba?
mm.
So,
Correct.
maganda yun para magkaroon tayo ng magandang rapport. And then,
Mm,
isa pa, ano pa ba? Let's treat them as our friends, no? Kamag-anak, kapatid,
mm,
kapamilya, kapuso. Siguro from this maganda yung mabibuild na relationship natin with the parents. At lagi na nila tayong kukulitin, ma'am, kumusta na ang anak ko? Ma'am,
mm,
kumusta na si ganyan? So sila na mismo ang magsasabi sa atin, no? Kasi nga meron na tayong foundation na maganda na sa kumbaga um, parang kampante na sila sa atin na kahit ano lang mga questions nila na ay si teacher nilang tatanungin ko tungkol dito, no? So
mm.
yun po yun. So siguro yun ang ang sa akin lang po. And thank you very much.
Wow, very good.
Okay, very well said po mga ma'am. Salamat.
Ma'am, in addition to that, of course, we can build a Facebook group, right? Within the section, create group chat. Are you
Meron
doing?
lahat, ma'am.
Yeah.
Opo.
Gagawa tayo ng group chat para dun sa group chat na yon, mabibuild ang relationship natin sa mga mommies, sa mga daddies, and as well as the students as well. Kasi dito sa case ko, mama, so hindi pa naman marunong communicate ang mga bata. 6 years old pa lang yung anak ko. Kaming mga mommies ang nakikipag-communicate sa mga teachers ng anak namin sa group chat. So how about sa high school, ma'am? Hindi nakasama yung mga parents sa group chat niyo?
May group chat po, ma'am, yung parents. May group chat din po yung mga students.
Separate,
Yes.
ma'am. Okay. At least. Okay, so that ends my presentation for today. Pasensya naman nung first part, mama, hindi ko na unmute yung ano. Sorry po. So,
Wow, that's good. Ma'am, thank you so much po ha. Napakaganda po, napakagaling. Okay, so
Yeah.
Ma'am Gemma, would you like to read some comments here? Meron po sa chat box, Ma'am Gemma.
Yes po, ma'am. Meron po. Okay. Ma'am, before I will read the comments po, we would like to say thank you po, ma'am. Very informative po ang webinar na ito.
thank
Thank
you
you,
so
ma'am.
much. Pero medyo,
Ito po, ma'am, yung mga comments po nila. Let me read po. Okay, galing po kay Ma'am Zinaida. Thank you so much to the excellent speaker for generously sharing with us a new technique in reading to be applied as additional method in our teaching profession.
Thank you po.
Congratulations to the English department, teachers, and to the department head. God bless us all. Thank you, Ma'am Zen. Ito
Thank
pa po.
you.
Okay, kay Ma'am Sukgang, yes po, agree constant communication with the student and parent is a good practice to have a good relationship. Through this po, we can be able to help the learners to determine their weakness and strengths when it comes to their understanding of the lesson. Kay Ma'am Vega po, welcome to all our schoolmates from Makati University, mother of Ma'am Geraldine Fabroa, mother of Ma'am Franz Fabroa, Benizon Sonko, all the way from California, USA, Ma'am Mel, Sir Ruel, Mom Jenny from Singapore, Mom Fek Calleja, Mom Villanueva, and thank you so much for supporting our sister Irene Manuel Alcantara. And with
Thank
that,
you
we
so
would like
much to my batchmates
to
and
ito
classmates.
po kay Sir Belango po. Through constant communication, reminding about their child student performance, also giving appreciation to the excellent accomplishment of the student. Yan po.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So
Okay,
let's
yan po,
move on
ma'am.
now. Let's move to the
Okay,
next
so,
part.
right. So, do we have some questions po pala? May mga clarifications kayo? May mga clarifications po ba kayo or gusto
Meron po
kayong
bang
itanong
hindi
kay ma'am?
malinaw? Meron po bang
May
hindi
mga
malinaw na
may gusto kayong
pagkakadiscuss, mga
itanong
ma'am?
kay ma'am Irene? Wala po
Malinaw,
ata.
malinaw po,
Malinaw
Ma'am
na malinaw
Irene.
po,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much,
We
ma'am.
learned a
Napakalinaw
lot.
po, ma'am.
Thank you so
Tama po.
much.
Alright, so, uh, I think, ma'am, we have to give now the certificate, ma'am, to
Yes
the
po.
speaker before we proceed to the closing program. Ma'am,
Is Ma'am Arias ready? She has the certificate.
All right.
ibinigay,
Ma'am Irene, will you please stop sharing first? Kasi para kami naman makapag-present.
Yes po, Ma'am.
Yes,
Ayan.
ma'am.
All
Okay.
right.
All right, Riz, take it away. Where's your slide?
Wow.
Hey, Ma'am Irene, thank you very much for that very detailed and very, um, kumbaga, lahat kami kahit na mga reading teachers kami, at least na-refresh kami doon. Na? So thank you for everything. Thank you for sharing your expertise. Okay, so may I now read the text. Republic of the Philippines, Department of Education, National Capital Region, Schools Division of Parañaque City, Dr. Arcadio Santos National High School, Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is presented to Irene Manuel Alcantara in grateful recognition as a speaker on the English Department LAC titled Learning Reading Strategies for Striving Level in the New Normal, held on October 2, 2021 at 9 o'clock in the morning via Google Meet. Given the second day of October 2021, signed Ma Teresa D. Mendoza, Head Teacher 3, English Department, and Marilu A. De Jesus, Secondary School Principal 4. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations po.
Thank you
Thank
so
you. Thank
much.
you po.
Thank you so much for having me here in this webinar. This is my very first webinar, mom, to host a webinar.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much po.
Oh,
thank
and
you so much,
This
ma'am.
will not be your first and last, Ma'am. We hope to invite you for
Marami
our
pa bang
next
susunod na.
webinars pa. Madami pa susunod.
and I
Tama
am
po.
so much very happy that you are so accommodating, mom. I didn't
Yes,
expect
opo.
it. I thought that you are aloof and very much, formal. That's
Mga
why
baliw kami,
my
ma'am, mga baliw. Joke.
kaya medyo naib siya ng konti yung nervyos
Yes.
ko. Kasi
Opo.
very much accommodating ang mga teachers dito sa Dr. Arcadio High School.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you po,
Oh,
ma'am.
ma'am.
We're not
And
yet
I,
done, I think.
All right.
Mhm.
Okay, so to formally close this
Thank you po, ma'am.
program, let us call on the head teacher of the English department, Mrs. Teresa D. Mendoza.
All right.
Ma'am,
To our
thank you
school
so much.
head, Ma'am Marilu A. De Jesus, to the department heads who are with us this morning, um, Ma'am Vidal, Sir Ronald Eroles, Ma'am David, Ma'am Belango, and to all other teachers from the senior high school and also from the junior high school. Good morning to the parents and students, to the English department. Thank you very much for this successful webinar. Okay, so actually, before we started, no, Ma'am Irene, you mentioned that you were so nervous because this is
Yeah.
your first webinar, and
Yes.
you were at the beginning you were already apologizing because you said you felt that you are not ready, but
Yes.
as the webinar went through, no, we really felt the readiness because of so many information that you shared with us. We learned a lot. It seems that we went back to our reading 101 lesson, no, in college, and we were
Mhm.
uh aside from these strategies, we learned new strategies that we can apply in our online teaching now in our new normal setting. Okay, so we would like to thank you for this very informative talk, and um, sabi ko nga, this won't be the first and last because I'm sure there will be more webinars, no? I
Mhm.
hope that you will be available by the time and that you are still willing to share with us your knowledge and your expertise. So thank you so much for that, Ma'am Irene.
You're
Lahat din ng mga
welcome.
taga-pamantasan ay mga magagaling, ano? Pamantasan ng Makati, mabuhay ang mga taga-pamantasan ng
Yay!
Makati. Okay, si Ma'am De
Yay!
Jesus, ano din yan, Makati College din si Ma'am De Jesus. So, without the help and support of our very supportive school head, Marilu De Jesus, hindi po ito magiging successful. Every webinar ng English department, she has been very supportive, and
Mm.
100% po ang support niya sa English department. So thank you to all the English teachers. Maraming salamat po sa patuloy na pag-lead ng mga webinars ng learning and development. Thank you so much for your patience and your hard work, no, to the master teacher too of the English department, Ma'am Arias, napaka-sipag, to the reading coordinators, Ma'am Lizelle, Ma'am Olaita, at sa lahat po ng TWGs, Ma'am Ellie Gray, Ma'am Arisa Rabo, at sa mga lahat po ng English teachers, maraming maraming salamat po. Sa mga parents na nandito, I hope that next webinars, you will still be joining us because this is very important. No? Reading webinar like this is very important. So we know that parents in this time of pandemic, we are all facilitators of learning. Okay, so we
Mhm.
have to see to it that even our children are at home, nagpa-facilitate pa rin ang ating ang learning. Okay, so I hope that this will serve as an inspiration to all of us, especially to our dear parents, not to stop monitoring and developing the reading skills of our children. So with that, thank you so much, and God bless us all.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Ma'am Irene. Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
po,
Thank you
Mary.
po,
Bago po
Ma'am
kayo
Jesus.
mag-leave,
Maraming salamat po.
paki-fill out po yung attendance link
Thank you
natin.
po,
Yes,
ma'am.
so
God
po.
bless
Tuturuan
po.
ko po kayo ng ibang Japanese word.
Yes, we love it.
Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa.
Arigatou
Konnichiwa.
gozaimasu.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you very much, Ma'am
Ma'am,
Mendoza and Ma'am Irene.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
thank you po,
much.
Ma'am Marilu De
Thank you
Jesus.
po.
Okay, maraming
Thank you po,
salamat
ma'am.
po.
Bye-bye. Thank you po.
Okay po.
Thank
Ang
you,
mga
Ma'am
English
Mendoza.
department po, kindly stay for a very short evaluation. Thank you po, mga department
Thank
heads.
you
Maraming
po.
salamat po.
English
Mama
teacher.
Luz, maraming
Bye po.
salamat sa support.
You're welcome.
Bye po, Ma'am
Bye,
Irene.
ma'am.
Thank you
Sisipag
po.
talaga ng mga
Thank
English
you po,
teachers
English
talaga.
Department. Thank
Leave
you
na
po.
po
Thank
ako,
you
Department
ma'am.
po.
heads, thank you
Okay na
very
po ba
much.
mag-leave, ma'am? Bye-bye.
Morning. Bye-bye po.
Sayonara.
Bye po. Sayonara.
Sayonara!
I
Sayonara!
love it. Thank you po,
Thank you.
thank you po.
Te amo.
Ayan, sa
Te
mga
amo.
parents.
Te amo.
Buti na lang yung
Ay,
wait lang.
God.
Natapos na. Mama Ed, salamat.
Wait lang. Sabi ko, and